Bob was a man of simple pleasures. He loved unicycles, he loved hamburgers, and he adored sharks, from a safe distance, of course. One day, a peculiar thought struck Bob. What if I combined all my loves? Thus began his outrageous quest to set a world record for, wait for it, eating the most hamburgers while riding a unicycle across a tightrope over a pool of sharks. Yes, you read that right. Bob, a man who could barely stand on one leg on solid ground, decided to conquer this ludicrous challenge. His friends and family, initially dumbfounded, eventually warmed up to the sheer absurdity of it all. They cheered him on, their laughter echoing Bob's own infectious enthusiasm. This wasn't just a world record attempt, it was a testament to the power of ridiculous dreams. And so our hero embarked on his journey, driven by a potent mix of ambition, naivete, and an alarming disregard for common sense. Little did he know his adventure would become the stuff of legends, or at least the stuff of side-splitting anecdotes told over campfires. Bob's training regimen was a sight to behold. Imagine, if you will, a man in a bright orange tracksuit precariously perched atop a unicycle, attempting to maintain his balance while simultaneously juggling hamburgers. His backyard transformed into a makeshift circus arena, complete with a kiddie pool, standing in for the shark tank, and a clothesline, his tightrope. Days turned into weeks, and Bob's skills, though still questionable, did show marginal improvement. He managed to stay upright on the unicycle for a full minute, a new personal best. He even successfully caught a hamburger in his mouth, albeit after flinging 3 others into his neighbor's petunias. His confidence soared with each small victory. One crucial element remained: the sharks. To acclimate himself, Bob spent hours watching shark documentaries, convinced that understanding their behavior would somehow make him less appealing as a snack. His friends, ever supportive, even gifted him a pair of shark-shaped floaties just in case. The day of the record attempt dawned bright and sunny, a perfect backdrop for Bob's grand spectacle. A crowd gathered around the makeshift arena, buzzing with anticipation. There was Bob's homemade tightrope strung precariously between 2 scaffolding towers. Below, a pool shimmered ominously, its depths concealing a surprise that would soon have everyone in stitches. With a flourish, Bob, clad in a sparkly custom-made unitard, because why not, rode his unicycle into the arena, met with thunderous applause. He took his position on the platform, a stack of juicy hamburgers piled high beside him. A hush fell over the crowd as Bob took a deep breath, his eyes twinkling with a mixture of excitement and terror. And then, with a mighty yell, he was off, or at least he attempted to be. The unicycle wobbled precariously as Bob struggled to find his balance. Hamburgers tumbled from the stack, bouncing off his helmet and into the crowd, who, much to Bob's relief, seemed more entertained than endangered. Section 4, Splash, an unexpected turn of events. The tightrope swayed alarmingly with each revolution of the unicycle's wheel. Bob's face was a mask of concentration, his brow furrowed, his tongue sticking out slightly. He reached for a hamburger, his entire body teetering on the brink of disaster. And then it happened. With a mighty splash, Bob and his unicycle plunged straight down into the shark tank. The crowd gasped, their cheers turning into shrieks of alarm. Everyone held their breath, their eyes glued to the churning water. Had Bob become shark bait? But wait! A moment later, Bob's head emerged from the water, sputtering and shaking his head like a wet dog. And then, to everyone's astonishment, he burst into laughter. "Those aren't sharks," he sputtered, his voice a mixture of relief and amusement. "They're just inflatable dolphins." Section 5. Vegetarian sharks and a newfound respect for water. It turned out that Bob's friends, concerned for his well-being and perhaps not entirely trusting his shark-charming skills, had replaced the fearsome predators with harmless inflatable dolphins. The pool, instead of being a death trap, was now a giant bobbing kiddie pool. The crowd erupted in laughter, relieved and thoroughly entertained by Bob's spectacular, albeit unintentional, pratfall. They roared with laughter as Bob, soaking wet and covered in inflatable dolphins, climbed out of the pool, his dream of a world record sinking faster than his unicycle. Section 6. Bob's epiphany and the crowd's roaring laughter. Standing there, dripping wet, a single hamburger clinging precariously to his forehead, Bob had an epiphany. Maybe, he mused aloud, some world records are best left unbroken. The crowd, still chuckling, erupted in applause, appreciating Bob's self-awareness and his ability to laugh at himself. And so, Bob's world record attempt went down in history, not for its success, but for its sheer, glorious absurdity. He might not have conquered the tightrope or the hamburgers, and he certainly hadn't conquered those non-existent sharks, but he had conquered something far greater, the hearts and funny bones of everyone present. As for Bob, he walked away from the experience with a newfound respect for water, a healthy fear of unicycles, and a lifetime supply of hamburger-related jokes. And hey, who knows, maybe he'd try again next year, this time with less ambitious props and perhaps a few swimming lessons.